What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dahi Raids. This is your week in raid. So, we have the mysterious message born by a raving. Let's come back to that in a moment because there's plenty else to look at. Tomorrow, starting on Tuesday, for most of us, we have summons coming up. We have summons coming up for Walking Tomb Drang in the Knights Revenant. Drang, I would advise anybody who does not have Drang to get Drang. He is your ticket to soloing Ice Golem, mainly because of his irresistible HP burn on an AoE. Means you don't have to build him with accuracy, you can build him as tanky and fast as you like, and what you were going to put into accuracy, you can put into resistance. That makes him fantastic. And then on the A1, he has a HP burn activation, so he'll activate and burn down bosses and minions quicker. This, not useful for Ice Golem, but useful everywhere else. He balances the HP of your team, and then has a reflect damage passive, or deals 30% more damage if he has less than 50 HP. These are the two great items though, A1, A2, very good champion. So he's available for Sacreds, as is Corrigar Deathbell. Corrigar Deathbell is a really good champion from the Ogre and Tribes. I haven't got Corrigar, but I have used them to tune a lot of people's clan boss teams. He has a Pythion-like passive where he reduces the damage of a lot of taken by a lot of allies. So his own resistance and defense is increased for each ally protect out, and then also does that for all allies by 15 and 5 for each ally protect, and counter attacks doesn't stack, obviously, that's grand, but as well as that, ally protection everywhere and strengthen on all allies, attacks all enemies 75% to fill in turn meter of all allies by 30%, also 75% chance of removing all debuffs from allies, and then heals on his A1, which syncs in with the counter attack that he has on his passive. Okay, really good, boosts everybody's defense and resistance. Excellent champion. And then we have Mortu Macab. Everybody knows Mortu Macab. Demon Spawn, Nuker, HP based. Don't care what A1 and A2 does. We're all about the passive, which is Peril, a secret skill, 20% chance to unlock every time he's hit, and this absolutely destroys everybody. Attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore shield and block damage buffs as well as defense. That's all defense, and once somebody is killed with that, they cannot be revived. You build them slow, tanky in stone skin, and just go to town. Happy days, bye bye enemies. Finally, out of the Sacreds on Tuesday, we have Artak from the Orcs. Where's he gone? There we go, Artak. Also a fantastic Ice Golem solo champion. Not as easy to build as Drang, I find, but a lot of people prefer him because he does bring his own decrease attack, and he brings an AoE HP burn, an AoE HP burn activation, and is AoE on all skills. He also extends his HP burns on his A1. The passive makes things a little bit hinky. He destroys his max HP and then stacks some stats that you really don't need on him, so I much prefer to see some of this changed, but he is a very good champion, very useful in a lot of areas. Out of those 4 from Sacreds, I'd probably myself be going for maybe Mortu Macab because I don't have him, even though it's past the Mortu meta. I would think he's still very useful, especially in Siege. You can't go wrong with having more options for your attack and defenses. Then for the Voids on Tuesday, we have an awesome champion, also Knights Revenant. I have his partner. I do not have him, so the other option on this day is Clydna. I'm not going to go for Clydna. I'm going for anybody. I'm going for White King Narcissus. In silhouette, that looks like a weird little Star Wars droid. Okay, anyway, back to the video. He is an AoE nuker. This one attacks one enemy. He partners with White Queen and Korra, attacks all enemies, ignores shield and strength and debuffs, 25% of the target's defenses. Sorry, doesn't ignore shield and strengthen. If somebody has shield and strengthen, he places an extra hit. And also, like Fatalis and Karato and a couple of others, the damage inflicted by that skill can't be decreased by enemy passive skills or masteries. So he's a fantastic counter to the likes of Harima, to the likes of Tarichka, Taris and Marichka, and a few others that have passives that stop that. Also, Rotos and Siphi, he does a double hit. Very, very good champion. Again, attacks one enemy 2 times. Rotos doesn't have a chance. Increases damage inflicted with this skill by 10% for each buff on the target, stacks up 50%, and by initial 10% for each buff on this champion, stacks up to 50%. Blocks revive, grants an extra turn if he kills an enemy when Ankora is on the same team. He is extremely strong. Himself and Ankora together are very, very strong. And I'm very sorry I didn't go for the guaranteed void when he was the champion. I probably didn't have the resources, but still salty I missed out. Finally, I did mention Clydna. Clydna's good. She's void. She has 100% sleep on an A1 and a turn meter fill. She has decreased speed and leech on A2, and remove a cleanse and a block debuffs and a revive on death on the A3. With she has a 30% chance of completely blocking the incoming damage from the first hit of an attack on a random ally, which occurs once per turn. She's good. I wouldn't use her probably anywhere outside of Sand Devil, and even at that, does this count when a hit? Attacks? Yeah. So, Cornelia is better. The only thing is, this is an A1, so if you don't have a consistent team, you know, you could just disable everything else and use her A1. The buffs do work. If you're not doing Sand Devil 25 yet, do build up Clydna if you have her. But if you're pulling voids this week, I wouldn't be going for her over White King Narcissus, not unless you have rocks in your head. So, coming then on Wednesday, we have the Bane of Dragons, Staltus Dragon Bane from the Banner Lords. Staltus is a fantastic champion. He is... Are these all solo? No, they're not. Okay, so Staltus is a fantastic Dragon Hard 10 solo champion. Build him with a bit of regen gear and survivability and speed. Get him to the boss and he'll solo the boss. That's it. That's all you need to know. No, he will reflect all the weakens, decreased defenses and poisons that the boss puts out back onto him. It's fantastic. That's it. That's the big ticket for Dragon, for solo farming Dragon, and he is probably one of the fastest champions to be able to do it as well. Looking at the rest of his kit, however, he's a very good champion aside from that, and an arena champion. So if the target is under any debuff, each hit decreases the target's turn meter by 10%, attacks 2 times on the A1, attacks AoE twice, and each hit has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. And finally buffs himself for 3 turn and then attacks all enemies, so 2 AoEs, has a 75% chance of placing a 25% decreased crit damage debuff for 2 turns on enemies whose attack is higher than defense, and for enemies whose attack is equal to or lower than their defense, he has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Very good champion. For the passive for Dragon, you don't need accuracy, I believe. For the stun, obviously you would, but if you're building him for arena, you probably would build him without accuracy to avoid polymorph. Let him buff himself, let him nuke with 2 AoEs and a 2-hitter there as well. So he counters Rotos with the 2 hits, counters Rotos with the 2 hits, and is just a damn good nuker and self-buffer for arena. Now, next we have Michinaki. Anybody who doesn't know Michinaki doesn't know Michinaki. nothing else saying. First of all, cool as hell. He is cool as hell. Looks a little bit goofy actually now that I look at his front teeth a bit more, but a bit of Ghost Rider vibes going on. Also has a kind of an incenser like White King. Oh, that's not an incenser, that's a head. That's his head. Today I learned. Okay, cool. HP burn on the A1 also joins in with the A1 when there's a hex on the enemy. He has a chance of joining in any allies' attacks. On the A2, decrease defense and decrease attack. Extremely good. And on the A3, places hex and also removes all buffs on the first hit. Extremely good Hydra champion. Just unbelievable. I've built two, I used to. They're very, very good. I think I've seen Nubs run a double Michinaki team in Hydra as well, and maybe a few other people. He's really good. Firol the Barkhorn is up next. Firol is in the Sylvan Watchers, a recent pull of mine that I haven't had a chance to explore yet. But he does a lot of work with buffs, increasing accuracy, and ignores resistance of 20% if it's a boss on all of his skills. Decrease speed A1, decrease accuracy and block buffs on the A2, AoE, and on the A3 places increased resistance on all allies and a perfect veil on everyone except himself. And then this is a really good skill here. This is key to a lot of speed running stuff I've seen lately. So 2 or more buffs increase resistance, 3 or more buffs increased accuracy, 4 or more buffs also increases damage dealt by 20%. So I've seen some teams with Siegfried and they're just nuking Ice Golem hard 10 because they have 2 Firols. They have more than 4 buffs on the team, so he's getting Siegfried is getting plus 40% damage. So he does his big slam, and then the follow-up wipes out the golem and the minions. Extremely good champion. I've yet to use him, but I'm looking forward to it. Then we have Kyoku in the Shadowkin. Kyoku is another champion I've gotten recently. She was really good, but I think is power crept now. If you have her and you haven't got Clan Boss done, I would make use of her. Good weaken on the A1, places 3 hits, decreased attack on the A2, AoE, has an 80% chance of placing HP burn for 2 turns on all enemies that she didn't place decreased attack on, and then ally protect and block on everybody and block damage on herself for 3 turns and grants an extra turn. The passive then, every time this champion is hit with a critical hit, heals all allies by 15% of their max HP, and then places 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. So she's very good, but she's kind of power crept at the minute. Out of all of those, if I didn't have, I actually have all of those for one, but if I didn't have him, I'd probably be going for Staltus Dragonbane. He's cool, and actually a little known fact about Staltus that you may not know. Where is it? Where is he? He hasn't actually killed any dragons, but he's ready to. Yeah, he has never slain a dragon nor even encountered one, but for him this is precisely the point. The age of dragons has passed, and to the benefit of all other species of Solaria. As Dragonbane, his quest is the remembrance of dragons, their spawn and their empires, and their sins. So yeah, have a look through his lore, but I think that's quite funny that he's Dragonbane, but he hasn't killed a dragon. Finally, the 2 voids are in Lizardmen and Undead Hordes, and they are Krisk the Ageless. Krisk is super good everywhere, probably not just as pinnacle as they were, but Krisk is still, like, I mean, you're talking he's not SS tier anymore, he's S tier. and that's just because we have mythicals and all sorts of nonsense going on now. AoE decreased speed on the A1, extends buffs and places ally protect and continuous ally protect on everyone, continuous heal on himself. And on the A3 then, AoE provoke increases defense buff on this champion for 2 turns and places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. The passive then, at the start of every round, he places a shield for 50% of his HP on everyone and has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense and decreased attack on attackers for 1 turn whenever he's hit. He brings everything you need for Hydra. He's a great mischief tank, he's a great provoker, brings speed up and speed down, decrease attack, decrease offense. What more do you need? He has everything. The other champion then is the great Nekret. One I don't have, and the choice for me this weekend is going to be, do I pull for Nekret this weekend? It's Tuesday, guys. So it's going to be, do I pull for Narses or Nekret? Narses is the current meta. Nekret is a past meta, but he's incredibly good. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack. Can't be resisted. Teams up with allies on the A2 to attack one enemy. All allies under ally protection. Buffs placed by him will join the attack. Allies joining the attack will use their default skills as usual, and grants an extra turn if no enemies are killed during the attack. Really good on a 4 turn when booped, with the extra turn becomes 3 turn. Then places a block debuffs buff and a 50% ally protection and a 25% strengthen buff on an ally for 3 turns. The ally protection cannot be removed. This is a super skill. Really, really good. Keeps your squishy nukers alive. Exceptionally good. And the passives here are what makes that type of thing even better. Because whenever an ally is attacked while under ally protection buff placed by this champion, he places a shield buff on the ally equal to 30% of this champion's max HP, and occurs only if the ally does not already have a shield. Also decreases the cooldown of this champion's Legion of the Damned skill by 2 turns if the shield buff is placed. So that's the Legion of the Damned, so that brings it down to possibly 1 turn cooldown. And finally, this passive is what makes him such a great protector. Block debuffs, 25% strengthen, 3 turns on the ally with the lowest max HP at the start of the round. So before play starts, he places all of that. Also places a 50% ally protection on them for 6 turns, and that can't be removed. So good, such a great protector. Allows you to build squishy nukers and have them alive for when their turn comes around. Very, very good champion. I'll probably be having to flip a coin between him and White King Narses, because I have neither of them. Now, we were talking about this letter from a raven. Let's see what we got. Raid mail, delivered by Lysandra here. So, the Fae Father greets you. It is a dire plight that moves me in this hour. Loki, once a dear friend of Asgard, seeks to upend the very foundations of the world. He weaves enchanting lies promising unbound freedom, and his arrogance could be the death of all. We must end this chaos at any cost. Act before it is too late, seek me out and face my trial, for only the strongest will be able to thwart the deceiver, and they will need mighty war gear to do so. You cannot fail, you cannot. Teleria itself is at stake. So what is that telling us? There is a new dungeon. We've seen that in a couple of the test server videos. It'll be coming in. Where is it coming in? It's going to be coming in around here, right there. Here or here. Bit lower. There's nothing on the map already there, is there, that we can see? No. So it's going to be coming in there. The thoughts were that it was going to be maybe a silver farm, but this looks like it's going to have some sort of Norse connections. Are we thinking Thor? Are we thinking Odin, the All-Father himself? the way that reads to me, come face my trial. Where is it? Seek me out and face my trial. So this looks to me like we're going to be fighting Odin. So we're going to be fighting Odin. And once we prove we're the strongest, we're going to get good gear. We're going to get the mighty war gear to do so. And then Loki is going to be a boss later on. So we're going to be farming that dungeon against Odin, I think. That's my thoughts. We're going to be fighting whatever dungeon it is against Odin. We're going to be farming gear from him. New set, I think. Rather than anything else. I think that's what it's going to be. Will it be a new set or a completely new type of item? Interesting. I don't know. So we'll be doing that, and then is it possible that Loki is going to be in here somewhere? That's the Great Void though. So I don't know, and nobody knows. Sorry, no CC knows, or no non-Polarian person knows. But the internet is abuzz with rumors. It'll be very interesting to see what's going on and to see if anything comes of that. But we do also have, let's see, we'll be finishing out the week with Scourge's Fusion. Will be ending on Saturday. If you haven't already got it, we will have let's see, we have Classic Arena, Ice Golem, Champion Training, Artifact Enhancement. All of that still needs to be done. We're on the Monday. We still have some time for Dungeon Divers also. But other than that, that's your last 4 pieces or 5 pieces that you can still get as of now. So you should have 9 at least already. At least. If you don't, you're short. You're not going to be able to get Scourge. We have... Oh, actually, no. We have more than I thought. Sorry. So we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have to have 8. No, 10 at least. Counting, not strong point today. So if you have 10, you're good. You need 16 total. 4 lots of 4. Where are we? Fusion. There we go. 4 lots of 4. Or if you got both in the original Summon Rush, you only need 12, so you can just get 2 more. I'm well on my way. I just need to do the champion training to level up some of these guys, and I will pull Scourge for the Clan versus Clan tournament tomorrow. So I'll use them for that, and that'll be it. That's the week coming up. I'm sure there's going to be more news for stuff released on Thursday and Friday, but at the moment we have nothing. Just to wrap up with the Scourge Fusion, this weekend we're not going to have any double pull events. I would say we're going to have a summon pool because Borrent was released, and we also we'll have him coming out, and it'll be, we'll have the summon pool, and we'll have a 10x or a 25x for certain champions this weekend as well. So there's no point holding on to anything, I don't think, this week, unless you're planning for something ahead in the future. If you want any of the champions that are on the progressive on Tuesday and Wednesday, go for them. Alright, now that's it. That's everything from me. Thanks for joining me here in Dahi Raids, and I will see you soon. Like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.